from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning to you. It's Tuesday, May 28th.
Thanks for joining us. So happy Tuesday. Many of you might feel like it's a Monday, but yeah, we're getting back in the swing of things, back to the heat, but looking forward to some changes. So.
Well, rain would be welcome, but I tell you what, the severe storms that the central and eastern parts of the U.S. have had this spring are no joke. We don't want any of that, Justin.
No, and it's been honestly incredible, the amount of tornadoes and wind events and hail events we've had across the country. We just haven't seen it here. That could change a little bit tonight. We're cautiously optimistic for some rain. As Mark said, we could do without the severe weather, but unfortunately, one comes with the other. So let's first start with the severe risk today. And what I want to point out is that darker orange color. That represents a 3 on a scale of 1 to 5 when it comes to severe weather in San Antonio, as well within that area. So we're talking San Angelo, Waco, Austin, Houston, San Antonio. This is a large area geographically speaking. In fact, most of Texas is under the risk for some severe weather today. That doesn't mean everyone's going to get it, but the threat is there. And as we look a little bit closer, most of our area within this risk of, again, a scale of out of 5, a 3. And the main threat we're going to see today is going to be gusty winds and maybe some flooding too now in spots. Again, not everyone's going to get heavy rain, but we have to watch for that with these kind of systems. Hail and tornado threat would be much lower. So let's walk you through the forecast here. Most of today is going to be quiet. So when we talk about that severe weather risk, it's later this evening and tonight. 90 at noontime. Still going to be hot and humid, not as hot as it has been. We'll still get temperatures up into the upper 90s, and those feels like numbers will be anywhere from 100 to 105. So we still got to worry about the heat some too. But then as we get into tonight, then we start to add in the rain chances. So dinner time and points afterwards, 30% chance of rain at 6 o'clock. We bump it up to a 40% chance by 8 and 9 p.m. And that's going to last through about midnight or so tonight. We're going to talk much more about this. We'll look at some of those computer models and get you a better idea of what's headed our way coming up here in just a couple minutes, guys.
Thank you, Justin. Well, if you need somewhere to go to beat the heat, you can scan that QR code in the corner there on your screen to the bottom left there. It will take you to our web article on KSAT.com with more information about the city's cooling centers. Places like libraries, senior centers, and community centers are some of the places that you can get out of the heat there. So they are expected to open around 10 this morning.
Let's take a quick look at TransGuide, and one of the things we've been monitoring all morning long, especially on the early edition of GMSA, was a closure or big slowdown at northbound 37 at Braunig Lake. The good news, all those lanes are back open. You see the remnants of that incident involving a big rig which is on its overturned on its side there. It looks like the giant King Kong wrecker is there, and they are working to get that out of the grassy median. There is another accident reported right now. And Justin, you have a few details on location?
Yeah, this is 281 inbound, so southbound into downtown. We are detecting some slowdowns, and this is being labeled as a disabled vehicle. But the left lane is blocked, which is, of course, the fast lane. So this is going to cause some issues. But this is near Bassey Road, and backups are stacking up all the way close to 410. So if you're coming out on 281, that's going to be a big slowdown.
Inbound 281. Got it. Okay. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you. And here's today's 9 at 9.
Today is Election Day for the primary runoff elections. This is your final chance to decide who will be on the November 5th ballot. Polls are open until 7 p.m. You can find a list of polling locations, sample ballots, and more information on KSAT.com.
Closing arguments are today in former President Donald Trump's hush money trial. Trump's attorneys are up first and are expected to attack Michael Cohen's credibility. Cohen is the only witness to directly tie Trump to the cover-up involving adult film actress Stormy Daniels. Trump denies the affair and hush money payment. Once closing arguments wrap up, the jury will get the case.
The Biden administration is reportedly assessing whether the Israeli airstrike in Rafah Sunday crossed President Biden's so-called red line. The attack left a refugee camp engulfed in flames. 50 people were killed and hundreds were injured. A White House spokesperson calls the images devastating, saying Israel must protect civilians, but also saying Israel has a right to target Hamas militants.
The death toll rising from severe storms over the holiday weekend. More than 20 people are dead from the storm system. After this morning, the eastern seaboard's getting relief, while new storms are predicted to hit around San Antonio and other states around Texas. Millions are also under heat advisories like in South Texas, the Valley, and in Louisiana and Mississippi.
Wall Street futures this morning are pointing to a higher open at the bell after the holiday weekend. Helping give them a boost are European banking officials indicating there is room to start cutting interest rates as inflation slows. There are expectations the European Central Bank may start cutting rates as soon as next month.
Shoppers in the U.S. are starting to get a bit of a break from inflation, with many retailers now looking to cut prices as we head into summer. Many other price reductions are initially focused on food. Places like Walmart, Target, and Aldi have already announced cuts on a long list of items, and craft chain Michaels says it's cutting prices on some items back to the 2019 levels.
Apple is set to revamp iPhone home screens. iOS 18 will bring customizable app icons and AI-powered features like custom emojis. More details are expected to be revealed at Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference, which is June 10th.
YouTube has some new tactics against ad blockers. Videos are skipping to the end of the clip for some users attempting to block ads with the program. Some believe it's an intentional move to discourage ad blocker use, while others think it's a bug. Users have reported that disabling their ad blockers resolves the problem.
Instagram may soon let users opt into early access for new features. A leaked snapshot revealed the option in the setting menu. It's similar to a test program on WhatsApp, which allows users to test new features before their official release. And that's today's 9 at 9. In your morning headlines, the basketball world lost a great player, broadcaster, and just all-around fun guy. And a warning for beachgoers this summer.
Plus, the grumpiest looking face on a baby that we've seen in a while. It's a picture that you may have seen because it's going viral. David Steers is here with your morning headlines.
All that baby is missing was a fist.
Have you guys seen it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's worth looking at 100 times.
Yeah.
This is the face,
yeah.
The eyes tell the whole story, as usual. We'll have that for you in just a second. Let's start with this. He was the definition of a basketball icon. Hall of Famer Bill Walton passed away yesterday after a battle with cancer. He was 6'7" and played even bigger in the time when basketball was rough and tumble. He started gaining attention playing for UCLA, and Coach Wooden during that time. He was even arrested for protesting the war in Vietnam. His coach bailed him out. He was the top pick in the NBA draft back in 1974, played for the Trailblazers and the Celtics, winning championships with both teams. Foot problems moved him to his next career, broadcasting. He excelled behind the mic. He was one of the most entertaining and informative color commentators to ever sit at the broadcast table and tell us exactly how it was. Bill Walton was 71. I just happened to have a picture of Bill Walton and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all three of us together. I'm the shortest guy in the picture. But they were here, I want to say it was the 2003 playoffs, the year the Spurs won the championship. But they were going around the entire country with all the cities who made the playoffs and just promoting the NBA and promoting all this stuff. I still have the T-shirt that they handed me when he walked up to me. So that was a cool moment. I mean,
it's very cool.
Between two icons and Walton, well, he was a funny guy.
I hope you have that picture framed somewhere in your office. Or
it's hanging on the wall in the house.
Okay, good.
So, but yeah, he was funny. He's going to be missed because he was great behind the mic too.
Yeah,
he was.
He didn't pull any punches.
He was a legend.
Great stuff. So he will be missed. All right. If you're headed to the beach this summer, the word is out. Beware of rip current. The rough waters of Galveston Bay took the lives of 2 people this past weekend. First, a 26-year-old man was seen near the Pleasure Pier on Saturday. He was with 4 other people when he got caught in the rip current. Then Sunday, a woman was body surfing. She started to struggle. Bystanders were able to get her to shore, started CPR. She made it to the hospital, but then she later died.
It's a little worrisome. You can kind of feel it pull you out. It'll kind of take you off to the side. So if you're not careful, if you don't recognize it, it will pull you out.
Yeah, those 2 didn't survive. Lifeguards did manage to rescue several others, though. And finally, just look at that face. Little guy taking grumpy to a whole different place. He got the frown working too, cutting those eyes. He's like, get out of my face. The holiday's over. I'm tired of getting punched in the gut and tickled and a little chin goochie goose. I'm done. I'm done with y'all. That's it. His name is Trent, and of course, he's all over the internet. Picture was taken by Lauren Carson. She owns a photography studio.
That's just a normal face for him. I don't think I've ever had a baby as expressive with as intense eye contact along with it. It has been wild. I never in a million years would have guessed that it would have gone to this level.
Oh, yeah. Social media took over this one. One user calling him the real life baby boss baby. He is his own do not disturb sign. Grumpy cat would approve. And he's already at the get off my lawn stage.
Oh.
What a great looking face. Oh, man.
It'd be great as if mom was like, he's actually the happiest baby in the world.
Right?
Well, that's what I'm tired of you.
Unswaddle me and this dirty look will go away.
That's just, there's just so much for that face. Just imagine when he's like 12 and then 15 and people bring that up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he probably will be the happiest kid on earth.
Yes.
He'll be smiling by then, I'm sure.
Stuff like that.
Those pictures will resurface. Probably like at his rehearsal dinner or something like that when he gets married.
Oh, you know that's coming.
Yeah, that's for sure. Dave, thank you. 909, 81 degrees. Still ahead on GMSA at 9.
Well, the school year is coming to an end, and that means teachers will soon be able to get a much-deserved break. So before the end of the semester, we had a chance to surprise KSAT's Educator of the Month from East Central High School. We're going to introduce you to her a little later in the show.
And it's graduation season. We are continuing to highlight some of the great grads in our area. Coming up, how one man is proving it's never too late to accomplish your goals. Canyon Lake is normally a popular spot during Memorial Day weekend, but that wasn't the case this year. That's partly because the water levels there are at historic lows.
Well, you can see Garrett Behringer was out there on Canyon Lake yesterday to see it for himself and talk to a few folks who were out there.
From the water, it becomes even more apparent just how far back the lake is receded. You can see all that bleached rock and sand that should be under another 23 feet of water.
It's sad for people that want to come visit. It's sad for the people that live here.
Oh, it looks horrible. And I'm just thinking about this summer, how much worse it's going to get, because, you know, no rain is helping us out here.
It's normally busier, and I think that the lake, the lowness is definitely have an impact on the flow.
Over the years, we have been used to seeing Medina Lake with these kind of conditions.
And now
here it is, Canyon too. I never thought I would see it this low. Unbelievable.
And it keeps falling. That's the wild part. We can't seem to get enough rain to get it filled back up. As we look outside with live cam, guys, we got partly cloudy skies. Sun's already out again. That means it's going to get hot.
Yeah.
Maybe not as hot as yesterday. By the way, at one point yesterday, before we even got into the heat of the afternoon, the heat index was 115.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
Just
absolutely.
1 degree shy of the record all-time heat index we've seen here. So
Already.
It has been quite a stretch. What we need, as we just said, is some rain. You look at the rainfall, where we've been. For May, we're at 0.47. That's about 3 inches below average. So May hasn't been so great to us. And then since January 1st, you remember when we had a huge surplus? We were doing so well to start the year. Well, now we officially have a deficit. We are about 1/4 of an inch below average now. The hope is that maybe we get some rain later this evening and tonight. Let me show you the futurecast, and this is just one of our computer models, but it does show that we may get a few storms this afternoon. I don't know that we see much, but we're going to watch what goes on out here across West Texas, places like Fort Stockton, Midland, Odessa, what goes on out in the mountains of Mexico. Because if these storms can come together, and I think they will, then we'll see one of those complexes of showers and storms. And all indications are that it would hold until it gets to San Antonio. This is 9 o'clock. It does show some storms flaring up. We could see some of these lines of storms. And if we do get that, then gusty winds are going to be our main concern when it comes to severe weather. 10 o'clock. Still shows some of those storms around, and then by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, these would all be out of here. Don't pay too close attention to the exact location and timing with these storms, because in these situations, it's all going to depend on when and where those storms initially develop and outflow boundaries. A lot of different scenarios can unfold, but we think that there is about a 40% chance of storms this evening. Here's a look at the severe weather risk. And the Storm Prediction Center has painted this with a broad brush. Okay, this covers a lot of Texas. this part you see over here across the eastern half of the state, that's for storms that are already developed and are moving south this morning. The area out to the west, which includes San Antonio, is for storms that develop out here and track in our direction this evening. Regardless, on a scale of 1 to 5 or to 3, that's an elevated risk. That's not a risk we see all that often around here. So that's why we have to really keep close tabs on this. What about the flash flood risk? Could we see flash flooding? Well, we could use the rain. Obviously, we don't want any sort of flash flooding, but there is a small risk, a slight risk for that here around San Antonio, with the higher odds of that happening up around Waco and Killeen. So that's one other factor in all of this. Those storms I just talked about that initially developed up here around Dallas, they are pushing south, and these will head towards Houston. I think this probably misses us to the east. So again, we'll be watching what goes on out here later this afternoon. Right now, 82 in San Antonio, 82 in New Braunfels, 83 in Seguin. It's still really humid. Air quality is still not great. We're going to take a look at that next half hour. But you see the cloud cover starting to lift. And so with sun, the temperatures are going to be warm this afternoon. We've already got a heat index of 90. Heat index may still jump above 100 today, so we can't let our guard down with regards to that heat either. 92 at 1 o'clock. There's your feels like number, 100 plus around 2, 3 o'clock. And then we hit a high temperature of 97. Then we begin to add the rain chances in. I see most of this is going to be after dinner time, if not overnight. So don't be surprised if you hear some rumbles of thunder overnight. We're putting in that 40% chance of storms. We'll keep in some small chances the rest of this week too, but I think tonight might be our best opportunity. And yes, temperatures will be quite a bit cooler tomorrow. Right now we're forecasting 90 on your Wednesday. That's a change. We'll take it, guys.
Yes, we will. Thank you, Justin.
As we continue to recognize some of the great students graduating in our area, we want to introduce you to one man who's has turned his struggles into success.
As Sarah Costa tells us, after graduating from UTSA with a Bachelor of Music in Vocal Performance at 37 years old, Antonio Zuiaga is reaching his goals one day at a time.
Born in Venezuela and one of 10 siblings, Antonio moved to the States in 2003. Graduating with a college degree is a surreal moment for him. This was his second attempt at college after failing the first time back in 2010.
I put in for my audition for the School of Music, and I never showed up. I actually parked in the parking lot, and I had everything ready, and I just didn't come in the building because I was too scared. So I enrolled in anthropology, and I started doing that kind of stuff, and failed pretty miserably.
Antonio left UTSA, started working different jobs, and then went through one of the hardest times in his life.
Unfortunately, I was involved in a lot of things, and ended up in a really bad period of alcoholism and addiction. I was very depressed. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, which was music. So when I got sober in 2017, I decided I was going to go back to school, and I was going to just pursue music.
Coming from a family of musicians, Antonio says music has always been a part of his life and played a huge part in his recovery.
So when I got sober, just being involved in music with the community and just using my instrument, singing, learning music, it helped me heal.
As for what's next, Antonio will be going to UTSA's Master's Program of Music in Chorale Conducting. His goal is to create a San Antonio recovery choir to help those battling addiction. Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News.
Time now 9:20, 82 degrees.
Well, mannequins have been used in healthcare training for years, but now they're getting a little more advanced. When we come back, how Hal here is helping nursing students prepare for real-life scenarios.
We do work beyond the nursing students. Working with Hal back here, that's an interprofessional education piece. We work with the School of Health Professions, the respiratory therapy, so they come in and work with us. The School of Physical Therapy comes in and works with our nurses as well.
Medical mannequins and a virtual reality program are some of the tools helping local nursing students and healthcare professionals train for real-life scenarios.
Well, our Tiffany Huerta shows us how these interactive courses and trainings that are being recognized on a national level.
How are you feeling today?
Talking mannequins play an important role at this simulation lab at the UT Health San Antonio School of Nursing.
We're going to go ahead and place. It's going to be a little cold, okay?
Benjamin Romero and his classmates are learning how to care for patients at the school's Center for Simulation Innovation.
We're actually very fortunate to be working with our mannequins that are able to talk back to us, give us real life cues, verbal, nonverbal. Patient can track their eyes if those settings are enabled.
This mannequin's voice and movement are controlled from a computer in the next room,
where the students come down to practice their skills and their assessments on patients.
So the center opened in 2013 with one room. How many rooms are there now?
Well, there's 23 stations that are available, but now we have 23 rooms that are capable of high fidelity simulation.
James Cleveland, the director of the Center for Simulation Innovation, took us around the different spaces.
It's lifelike too. Also, it's untethered, so you can hold it. You can see his eyes are open, and he can cry, seizures.
Students and healthcare professionals train here.
It's very realistic.
And again, for interprofessional purposes, we can have, physicians can work on advanced practice, nurses can work on it, so we can do, different types of IVs.
Recently, the lab received accreditation from the Society for Simulation in Healthcare in the area of teaching and education.
You have to have measurable outcomes. You have to be able to show that you have development. You have to be able to show the educational complements of the simulation on top of the other ongoing educational activities that are occurring in your university setting.
And then put it on the patient's chest, and then you should be able to hear the heartbeat.
The program also uses virtual reality as another training tool for students.
The center began using this virtual reality experience in the spring, and here at UT Health San Antonio, they hope to expand this type of technology.
Our students will actually wear a headset and do things in the virtual environment that will prepare them when they take care of our live patients.
Sonia Harton, Dean of the School of Nursing, is proud of her team for innovating and earning this certification.
I hope that what this means for us is that not only will we continue to meet the standard, but that we will be able to actually increase some of the things that we're doing down there.
Tiffany Huertas, KSAT 12 News.
Can you imagine what kind of technology is going to be around in 5 or 10 years for these kinds of students to use?
I know. It's hard to imagine because, we've come a long way already to this point. Yeah.
Very interesting. Thanks, Tiffany. 9:26, 82 degrees. There's a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9.
Including our last educator of the month for the school year. So she is a teacher at East Central High School, and teaching wasn't always her plan. I'll explain coming up.
Plus, why officials at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery are asking visitors not to continue a tradition that dates back centuries and what they want them to do instead. Like we mentioned in the 9 at 9, today is Election Day, and the polls are open now. This is the Texas primary runoff election. While a majority of party nominations were decided in the March primary election, there are still a handful of races that still need to be determined.
Well, the winners will advance to the general election in November. You can scan that QR code on your screen to find sample ballots for each party and other important Election Day information. So polling locations, they're going to be open until 7 p.m. And even if you didn't vote in the March primary, you can still vote in the runoff.
Then join us later this evening after the polls close for our special runoff election night live stream starting at 7 p.m. right after the news at 6. Results will start trickling in as soon as we start the stream, and Steve Spriester and Myra Arthur will keep you updated while also speaking with some special guests. You can watch the election night live stream coverage on any of the KSAT streaming platforms.
Look out there with live cam. We're up a few degrees, but we could kind of know it was going in that direction with the sun out already, Justin.
Yesterday, I got out and mowed the yard because I was looking at the computer models and I saw that chance for rain tonight. So I thought, this guy, I got to get it done. So if you do have to get it done, just take it easy. Today's going to be another one of those hot days. Then hopefully we do get some rain tonight. Not a guarantee, but the hope is there, and it's looking a little bit better. Let's first start with a look at the time lapse. We started off with clouds this morning and hazy sky, and now we're left with some partly cloudy skies. 82 already feels like 90 with humidity at 82%, a southerly wind at 8 miles per hour. As we look at heat index values around the area, most of us right around that 90-degree mark, at least here in San Antonio. Heat index will jump up close to 100 by this afternoon. 100 to 105, I'd say. A little better than yesterday where we had a heat index of 115, but it's still hot, no matter how you slice it. Want to show you the air quality, too. We still have some unhealthy for those who are sensitive to that sort of thing. The air quality hasn't been great as of late. A lot of humidity in the atmosphere, too, combined with smoke that continues to come in from places like Mexico and Central America. Hopefully, with some rain this evening, that could help wash some of this stuff out of the atmosphere. We are putting in a 40% chance of rain starting right after dinner time and continuing right on into around midnight. We'll be watching storms out to the west and northwest, and we're going to have another look at those computer models and talk about the severe potential as well coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
Thank you, Justin. Well, the trial of Daniel Garcia is picking up again this morning. He is the man accused of killing 5-year-old Dominic Aguilar Acevedo before his remains were found in a Colorado ravine. Erica Hernandez has been following the trial for us, and she's in the courtroom again today. She's going to have updates on our later newscast.
We are live streaming the trial from beginning to end. Watch it on KSAT.com, KSAT Plus, and the KSAT YouTube page once court resumes, which should happen anytime now.
Well, the tradition of leaving a coin on a headstone of a fallen service member is something that dates back to Greek and Roman times. So if you've ever visited Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery, you may have seen that.
People honor those killed in action by leaving coins on headstones, and each coin has a different meaning. But as Jesse DeGollado tells us, the director of Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery is asking people to stop doing that.
One of the largest in the U.S., Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery is where at last count 130,000 men and women who'd served their country are laid to rest. Dignified and pristine, where some visitors leave a silent message on headstones. A quarter if they were there when they passed, a nickel if they'd trained together, a dime if they'd served together overseas, and a penny to mark their visit. A cherished tradition can be a problem on these gleaming marble headstones.
Especially here with the humidity, if we get rain, those coins can stain the headstones. Then we have to take a sander and sand off the surface level of the marble.
Like many families visiting their loved ones, like here at my father's grave. He was a World War II veteran. You want to leave some sort of memento, like this coin from the VFW. But actually, they say there are better alternatives.
Take a photo of it, pick up your coin, and then upload that photo to VLM.
The Veterans Legacy Memorial, a dedicated web page for more than 10 million veterans, where families and friends can leave online tributes.
I can't. I'll do it shortly after I'm done decorating his area.
Similar small memorials at home are also an option, and each in their own way.
As civilians, you want to live a life worthy of their sacrifice.
Jesse DeGollado, KSAT 12 News.
As for what happens to the coins left on headstones, we're told the National Cemetery regularly collects them. They say the money helps to buy plants and trees and continues the beautification of the National Cemetery itself.
Well, on our website, we have a link to the Veterans Legacy Memorial as well as the National Cemetery's policy regarding flowers and other mementos at the gravesite if you want more information.
Well, the other news this morning in New York, former President Donald Trump's hush money trial is coming to an end with closing arguments happening right now. But how does this history-making trial compare to other landmark cases?
Well, CNN's Brian Todd has a look back at other famous trials of the century throughout American history.
There is no crime. Former President Donald Trump's hush money trial is historic and unprecedented.
In what's being called the trial of the century.
This is the trial of the century.
What just might be the trial of the century.
There have been other trials that have gripped the nation's attention, many of them in the last century. Some analysts say for media coverage, there's one trial that rivals Trump's.
The OJ trial
is the only case that compares to the sensationalism of this case.
The former football star accused of murdering his ex-wife Nicole and Ronald Goldman, a fallen American icon, in court, on TV, all day, every day, for about 8 months.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder.
You have two individuals who are viewed in such polarizing terms. In the OJ case, the polarization was around race. In the Trump case, it's around politics. But it illuminates a key moment in our life as a nation to see those stark divisions. That's what makes a trial of a century.
Then there was the impeachment trial of a sitting American president, Bill Clinton, in 1999. Impeached by the House, which had charged him with perjury and obstruction of justice relating to the Monica Lewinsky investigation, Clinton was acquitted by the Senate. America had been introduced to the concept of a gut-wrenching trial of the century more than 60 years earlier. In 1932, the 20-month-old son of legendary aviator Charles Lindbergh was kidnapped from the family home in New Jersey. The child's body found more than 2 months later.
The Lindbergh case is a historical trial because obviously Lindbergh had a hero's following. He crossed the Atlantic, so that had all the drama.
After a more than 2-year investigation, a German immigrant carpenter named Bruno Richard Hauptmann was arrested for the Lindbergh baby's murder. Hauptmann professed his innocence until the moment he was executed. His guilt still debated to this day. It's their purely compelling nature, analysts say, that's made Americans become glued to all these trials, from Hauptmann to OJ to Clinton to Trump.
Every trial of the century must capture the zeitgeist, the moment that we're in.
That was Brian Todd from CNN reporting.
And again, Trump's hush money trial is resuming today with the defense and prosecution presenting their closing arguments, and jury deliberations should begin as soon as tomorrow.
Time now is 9:39, 82 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9.
Well, when we come back, I'm going to introduce you to our Educator of the Month and show you how she's going beyond her classroom to help out her students.
Good time to go out to the zoo before it gets too hot, but the flamingos are hanging out right now. Always a great day to go to the zoo.
Educator of the Month, brought to you by First Mark Credit Union.
We'd like to present to you Educator of the Month for the month of May. Congratulations!
Well, we had a chance to surprise Maggie Toney before the end of the school year, and as you can tell there, the students just love her. Well, Maggie Toney is an English teacher and debate coach at East Central High School. She's been there for about 10 years, and she's KSAT's Educator of the Month.
The whole sign went, the whole sign was 1,000 points to Ravenclaw if Anna would slither in to prom with me.
I see them all lined up with the little signs asking me to prom. It was really cute.
It was a successful promposal, Harry Potter style, thanks to the help of English teacher and debate coach Maggie Toney.
Any way that I can show the kids beyond what goes on in the classroom, just the academics, any way that I can be there for them. Listen, I feel you. I feel like, though, that
Maggie started at East Central High School in 2014.
That's something you're going to have to be thinking constantly.
Since then, she's been connecting with students, and she's put their debate team on the map.
For the 3rd year in a row this year, I took a couple of teams actually to UIL State for policy debate. We've also advanced to the state competition for TFA, the Texas Forensic Association, which is another big statewide organization for speech and debate. And so, yeah, we're really growing and advancing and getting some really good debaters coming out of East Central. All right, anybody else have anything to add?
It's hard to imagine now, but Maggie Toney almost did not pursue a career in education. She says she was initially planning on being an attorney, but says that wasn't where her heart was. Plus, there was that inspiration from Maggie's parents, who are both educators.
As soon as I got into the classroom, it was like settling into my own skin. I just found where I was supposed to be. And the kids really, I don't know, just their energy, their enthusiasm, their raw talent. and potential just are exciting. You know, they have so much potential and so much drive and so much love for anything you put in front of them. And so I just want to help them be as amazing as I know that they can be.
When we surprised Maggie Toney with the Educator of the Month award, her students were so excited about it, and so were her colleagues.
It's really exciting. She definitely deserves this. She works tirelessly to grow this debate program for the district. She's also our UIL academic coordinator too, so she's got a lot on her plate, but she always puts students first, and that's what makes her so special.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, it's really cool. I love Miss Toney. She's awesome.
Thank you so much. Oh, wow. This is amazing.
Yeah, congrats again to Maggie. It's cool to go and surprise, these teachers. What was fun about this classroom is, so we go in there with, it's KSAT and First Mark Credit Union, and sometimes there's, picture taking. Mm-hmm. The students were excited about it. They were like, okay, we want to take a picture with you. And so they all had their, taking turns with all of their phones taking pictures, and they were super excited for her. And, she's always there for the kiddos. You could see that, she even helps with prom proposals, right?
You bet. You bet. Well, it's a team effort on the KSAT side, too. You're out there.
Yes.
Your husband is the photographer.
Yes, photojournalist.
And Megan from sales upstairs is the one doing the presentation.
Yes, yeah. It's a team effort.
It is.
And it's been an exciting school year. There's a lot of great, nominees, and also, the ones who won as well. So congrats to all.
That's it. We're done for the season?
For the school year. Yep.
All right. Everybody have a great summer.
Yes, have a good summer. Congrats.
Let's go outside with live cam. I think it's pretty calm right now, the kind of that hazy, summery looking kind of day. We know it's going to be hot, but Justin's also got us on storm alert later today.
Yes, it's looking promising. Let's not say everyone's going to get rain, but it does look more promising than what we've seen maybe over the last couple of weeks. I want to show you something here. This is the power outages that we have going on across the state. And we obviously don't have any here, but I want to take you up to the Dallas area, and you see these different colors. Well, these represent the power outages that are going on right now, and they're actually seeing quite a few. You look around Dallas County, there's almost 400,000 people without power. Okay, this is in Fort Worth, 48,000. So these are big numbers. And the reason I show you this is they've got storms moving through right now with very gusty winds. And this is what can happen with gusty winds. You get these power outages. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here tonight, but it's something that we need to watch out for. If we can get gusty winds with the storms tonight, we could see some power outages around the area, and that's something we'll be tracking. And the reason they're seeing these power outages is because they've got a complex of storms that just blew through and brought some very gusty winds with it. These storms will track down towards Houston. So this is area number one that we watch. Then we turn our attention out to West Texas. That's an area where storms will flare up this afternoon. And if they can cluster together, they'll work their way down to South Texas a little bit later tonight. Here's a look at the futurecast, and this is just one model. And I'll tell you, models aren't going to handle this perfectly because it deals with outflow boundaries. It's all dependent on where storms initially develop out across West Texas. So don't pay too close attention to the specific location of these storms, but the general idea that we get storms coming together and then making their way towards San Antonio later this evening and tonight. I think that's kind of the general idea. This is 10 o'clock, shows storms potentially up in the hill country and then surging south towards San Antonio as we get into tonight. And then those will be out of here by tomorrow morning. I want to show you the severe weather risk across the state. The Storm Prediction Center does have much of Texas within an enhanced risk. So on a scale of 1 to 5, a 3. 2 for those further south. But bottom line, most of Texas is under the threat of severe weather today. And that darker orange color is where the threat is at its highest. We may also see some flash flooding. I wouldn't get your hopes up too much about heavy rain, but it is something we need to watch. A lot of times when we get these clusters of storms, they can put down some pockets of really good rainfall, and we'll certainly take it. We just don't want any flash flooding. So those are things we're watching. And keep in mind, the main threat, as I said earlier, with these storms tonight would be gusty winds. 82 right now, 85 in New Braunfels. Before we get there, we got to get through another day of heat. Not as bad as yesterday, but hot nonetheless. And we can see those morning clouds have already eroded, so we've got sun, and that's pushing those temperatures up into the 80s. But this is the heat index. This is what it feels like, and this is really the important number, right? If you're going to be outside, it feels like 94 right now in San Antonio. It feels like 94 in Converse. It Feels like 89 in Castroville, so we're already heating up. It's already very humid. So our forecast as you plan out your day, 90 at noontime, partly cloudy. We get feels like temperatures up near 100, maybe even a little higher than that as we get into the afternoon. Air temperatures anywhere from 95 to 97. And then we begin to add in rain chances. I think as early as dinner time, but the better chance is going to come 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock where we put in a 40% chance of storms. And if you are going to be out this evening, have the KSAT weather app handy. If storms do develop, we'll be letting you know and passing along any warnings or any issues. And if we need to go live on the app, we can. We'll be there with you if storms do become severe. 90 degrees tomorrow. That's the nice cool down that we're going to get out of this with some more clouds. And temperatures in the mid-90s rest of the week. Small rain chances, but I think maybe tonight may be our best opportunity.
Yeah, 90 degrees sounds great. Just hopefully nothing too crazy overnight.
It's pretty wild, right, that we're excited about 90? That's actually a huge cool down.
Yeah, we'll take it.
We will.
Take it. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah. 9:50, 83 degrees.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's 9:54. Well, Jeremy Renner is back on TV after his serious snowplow accident last year.
CNN's Rick Damigella talked with Renner about the new season of Mayor Kingstown, streaming Sunday on Paramount Plus.
My job, my primary function, is to create a balance and avoid a war.
Jeremy Renner is back in a new season of Mayor of Kingstown.
Got my attention. You don't want that. Are you warning me? I don't think you want to find out.
The third season of the intense drama series marks Renner's return to acting just a year after a near-fatal snowplow accident on New Year's Day 2023.
There's real movement here and real change and real depth of what I can do, what I'm able to do, became pretty prevalent, really quickly, because I didn't think I was going to be able to. Give me the breast. Yeah, I'm just going to talk to him. Give me the breast. 2 minutes. My physical therapist is like, this is like the worst condition for you to be in. Freezing cold, unstable ground, dress shoes, you might as well be ice skating.
And yes, that is Renner performing this very physical scene.
And it wasn't supposed to be a Superman punch either. I just went for it and did a leaping Superman punch and did this whole thing, and it worked out great. And there was a big sigh of relief. You all right, little bro? I tell you, Mike, I'm terrified. You should be. I couldn't be more proud at the end of the season. I think all the actors and everyone on the production could be very proud that, we had a lot stacked against us with this busted old body and fragility of my life. I'm the one that will make your life possible in this town.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
All right, let's take one last look at the forecast. We mentioned that threat for severe weather today. The clouds are burning off, so we're starting to see temperatures warm up. We'll make our way up to about 97 or so, about a 40% chance of rain as we get into this evening. And yes, we will watch for some strong to severe storms.
Yeah, well, watch out for us. Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
It's going to be an interesting night. Make sure you have that free Weather Authority app. Be safe.